When I was at the Clark County Museum in Henderson, Nevada, looking at their steam locomotive that was on display, I was told that there was another steam locomotive on display at Boulder City where they have a railroad museum. They also have on display some other railroad cars that I was interested in seeing. However, this was September 29th, 2020. We were still in the throes of the COVID-19 pandemic. And unfortunately, all of the exhibits, except for steam engine number 35, were closed to public view. This is the Nevada State Railroad Museum, part of the Nevada Southern Railway in Boulder City, Nevada. And it's an interesting collection of trains, mostly old and refurbished, but it's a good place to actually get some hands-on of the trains. Now I'm talking through a mask, so if it's sort of muffled, it's due to COVID-19. I had to use the restroom when I came here, only to find out that the restrooms are closed due to COVID-19. So be prepared for that. Basically, I'm interested in steam locomotives. Of which this is a good example. What am I at? So they are working on a train as we explore. Right over here. Really appreciate it. There's the old hand cart like you see in the westerns. get to the ticket office. Now the ticket office is closed during the week because they don't have any trains trips during the week. But you can still go in and look at all of the trains for free. Looks like they're all closed today. Let's go around this way. Now this one we have access to, so we can look around at number 35 and do a closer inspection. It has the platform too down here, and you see it doesn't have a cow catcher. Then the boilerplate, and this was made by the Boulder Locomotive Works in Philadelphia. Then the light would be up there and the smokestack behind it. And then the coupler. And usually there's a plate that says when it was made. This may be it. This is the piston. This would be the valve. And this is amazing because this piston drives the rails. This would be the central rod of the piston. And let's see which is the main driver. And these were called cranks. These gadgets were called cranks here. Just like a bicycle. Here's probably the main crank. This is the main driving wheel. This particular setup here drives the valve, which is a cylinder valve, which moves back and forth in concert with the piston in order to let steam in on one side and out the other. So this is the control arm for that. And as you follow this, you'll see that it's also connected to this rod. And I'm sure this is connected here, and that's the way the engineer could control the movement of the valve back and forth, and also put the train into reverse. So let's take a look up top here. What do we have? We have the smokestack. Let's see, how many domes? You have 3 domes. So clearly this is the hot box dome here in the middle. That's where the steam comes out of the boiler and goes into the valve and piston. The bell, that one's a generator in the back to run the electricity, and it's just all sorts of pipes, each one having an important part to play in the running of locomotive. It's the tender. And those silver covers are the hot boxes. And if you looked inside the hot box, you would see the bearing, the axle, and a bunch of material that looks like a mop, which is usually soaked in oil to lubricate the axles. Let's see if we can get a peek in here without touching anything. So you should be able to see the boiler. And the fire box opening. Now that has a little hole. If that's the only hole, then that means this was run on oil.